The film opens with a heated MMA bout between two men, Bastion and Enzo Prince. During their match, Bastion loses control and ends up killing Enzo, leaving the entire stadium in a state of shock. Enzo Prince's wife, Emma, and teenage son, Leo, also spiral out of control upon hearing the news. Due to this tragedy, Bastion becomes deeply disturbed and quits fighting. He even visits the cinerarium, where Emma and Leo have preserved Enzo's ashes in an urn. Emma and Leo arrive there and begin lashing out at him. Leo happens to be more emotional than Emma, as he's a teenager. Hence, Bastion apologizes to them and leaves. The story fast-forwards to 2 years after Enzo's death. In the Phocéan city, there happens to be an abandoned factory where a drug dealer named Andalou is seen getting chased by some masked men. Those men are presumably from a drug cartel and are led by a corrupt and influential man named Driss Mansour. Once they corner him, they kick him until he dies. The next day, the French police arrive at the factory after receiving noise complaints from the neighbors. One of our leads, Captain Kenza, arrives at the site with Captain Sarkissian and takes a look around. With her intuitive skills, she follows some blood splatters, which lead her to multiple corpses that have brutal wounds all over their bodies. The situation turns out to be serious. So Commissioner Canistra personally visits the crime scene and raises questions regarding the corpses. Kenza confidently mentions Driss's name in the conversation and introduces him as a notorious drug dealer who's capable of taking innocent lives for his means. Pinning the recent deaths on Driss, Kenza wants to capture him, but Commissioner Canistra asks her to present hardcore evidence against Driss to get him convicted, or else they won't approach him. Sometime later, Kenza gets a call from someone, so she leaves the crime scene immediately and visits that certain someone in a parking lot. That person turns out to be Leo, who confesses to Kenza that he was at the factory last night and witnessed everything. Driss saw him witnessing everything and has been after him ever since, wanting to eliminate the only witness to his crime. Before he can confide more in Kenza, he gets scared to see a police vehicle arriving at the parking lot, so he flees the scene with his cousin. The story shifts to our lead, Bastion, who still has nightmares from his last match. Currently, he has left his career at its peak because of the unintentional assassination of Enzo. He also lives far away from people since they haven't been treating him the same after Enzo's demise. He does labor for a living now and doesn't engage with anyone during lunch breaks. One day, when he returns home from work, he finds Emma at his house, who has spontaneously tracked him down for a personal favor. She directly blames Bastion's action for her worsened living conditions. She also blames Bastion for the way Leo turned out. According to her, he ran away from his home to live with his cousin and sell drugs. Unfortunately, she's received a message from Leo after ages, begging her to help him as he's gotten involved with some dangerous people. After feeling guilty, Bastion agrees to help her bring Leo back safely. He takes Leo's address from Emma and sets out to find him. He arrives at the cousin's apartment building where he spots some young residents hanging out. One of them is Dylan, whom he asks to look out for his bike while he's gone. Now he marches up to the cousin's apartment, only to find it ransacked and Leo missing. Kenza, who is also at the apartment looking for Leo, instantly points her gun at Bastion from behind and mistakes him for a thug because of his heavy build. Bastion comes clean about his purpose, detailing that he was recruited by Leo's mother to get him out of trouble. They both decide to work together and find Leo. While checking the apartment for clues, Kenza grabs a picture of a girl, assuming it is Leo's girlfriend. Now she and Bastion march downstairs and interrogate the young residents regarding Leo's disappearance. Dylan reveals that some thugs barged into their building and beat the living crap out of Leo's cousin, during which Leo escaped. Since they had left the cousin to die, the neighbors admitted him to a hospital. Kenza drives to the hospital in her car, while Bastion rides on his motorbike. On the other hand, Driss's men are seen in their cargo attire. Shockingly, they have kept Andalou alive. They torture him and threaten to go after his family, so he gives up his drug stash by exposing the location where he's hiding his drugs. While Kenza and Bastion reach the hospital, Driss's gang recruits some assassins and tasks them to find Leo by all means. Back on the good side, Bastion and Kenza visit the cousin in the ER, who is thankfully able to talk. Kenza assures him that she will protect him and Leo from now on, so she gains his trust and gets him talking. She shows him the girl's picture she took from his apartment. He recognizes her as Leo's girlfriend, Inaya, and reveals that she and Leo have disappeared together. He tells them that Inaya has a sister named Anna, who works at a certain club and perhaps can be of help to them. When Kenza steps out of the hospital with a new lead, she comes across Driss's lackeys, who are here to torture the cousin some more. She asserts dominance and lets them know that the cousin is placed under protection. Hence, they walk away for now. When she returns to Bastion, they tease her behind her back by mentioning her brother. This triggers Kenza to a point where she chases them and beats the living crap out of them. When her misconduct is reported to the police station, Canistra picks a bone with her and suspends her because he fears Driss's wrath. Even her fellow captain doesn't trust her with the case because he thinks she's being personal here. Kenza ends up joining hands with Bastion, and together, they decide to run a collective investigation of their own to find Leo and capture Driss. She begins by admitting that Leo wasn't dealing in drugs, but only infiltrating gangs as Kenza's informant. In the meantime, we see Leo hiding in Inaya's apartment. He becomes scared to see people looking at flyers with his face on them. While Inaya comforts him, we see Bastion and Kenza arriving at the club where Anna bartends. They try to ask her questions regarding Inaya, but she gets awkward and doesn't tell them anything. Simultaneously, the club's owner sees them as a threat and unleashes his guards on them. Bastion had vowed never to hurt another soul, so he only defends himself and ends up getting tossed out of the bar along with Kenza. After some critical thinking, he breaks his vow of silence and heads back inside to teach the guards a lesson. He goes feral and violently hurts the guards until they all get knocked out. At last, the club's owner takes Bastion at gunpoint. Kenza shows up out of nowhere and shoots him with her sniper. With things taking a serious turn, Anna finally speaks up and reveals that Leo is hiding in their apartment. Bastion decides to extract him from there right away, but Kenza asks him to wait the night and extract him in the morning, revealing that Anna's apartment building comes under Driss's turf and that his hounds patrol his area the entire night. With nowhere to go, Bastion ends up joining Kenza at her place, where she speaks up about her personal vendetta to capture Driss because he burned his brother alive for witnessing his homicidal crimes. Later, when Kenza offers to dress Bastion's wounds, the two become attracted to each other and make love. On the bad guy's side, they start to spread the word that everything goes through them now that they have seized Andalu's stash. Since he's of no use to them, they violently execute him and take over his business. Simultaneously, the beaten-up guards from Anna's club file a report against Kenza and Bastion, who have gone rogue. They show Commissioner Canistra their club's footage as solid evidence to arrest them. The next morning, Bastion and Kenza head to Anna's apartment while Anna arrives at the police station on Canistra's request. Side by side, Leo becomes outraged to see his father's killer on his doorstep, and Anna comes clean to the cops, who decide to raid her apartment with the available task force. Driss's men also get a phone call from one of the assassins, who rats out Leo's current whereabouts. Now Kenza resolves the dispute between Leo and Bastion and helps them get along for the time being. When they are on their way out of there, the assassins start showing up. Bastion decides to make the ultimate sacrifice by staying behind to face the assassins while Kenza runs with Leo and Inaya through the back exit. At first, Bastion takes down two bikers using his raw strength, but when the assassins outnumber him, he starts to run away. By the time the assassins get to him, the police arrive and arrest all of the assassins. Now Kenza and Bastion willingly bring Leo to the police station, where Anna and Inaya are united and sent to a safe place for their protection. Leo eventually forgives Bastion for protecting him. Canistra also reinstates Kenza for getting Driss's men captured and lets her continue with Leo's statement. Captain Sarkissian and another officer join her and Leo in the investigation room, where Leo reveals that he was working in Andalu's group to monitor his activities. One of his group members teamed up with Driss to steal Andalu's drug stash. This is how he ended up getting ambushed in the factory, where Driss executed Andalu's men and spotted Leo eavesdropping on their conversation. When Kenza questions him about running away from the parking lot the other day, Leo reveals that he ran away because he recognized that cop as the culprit who ratted out Andalou and his men to Driss. When Kenza suspects that one of their officers is the imposter, the second officer stabs Captain Sarkissian in the neck and comes for Kenza next. Kenza ends up shooting him, which alerts everyone in the station. Suddenly, the power supply is cut to create a total blackout. Driss makes a forced entry into the station with his heavily armed men, who open fire at everyone at the station. While hiding and lying low, Bastion and Canestra join Kenza to protect Leo. During the escape, Canestra gets shot, while Kenza and Bastion get exposed to Driss's deadly assassins. They use their weapons to shoot some of their men, and are left with 2 deadly assassins. Side by side, the two have a tough time fighting those assassins. Kenza ends up jabbing a pointy object in her opponent's eye to get rid of him. In the end, Bastion kills Driss and puts an end to everything. The film ends with Leo uniting with Inaya and Emma by the seashore. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome recaps.